I'm Bear Grylls. You may not remember me, but maybe you do, from the show Man vs. Wild. I'm a bit out of shape, my vision's gone a little south, and I've been on quite a vacation with the hair in need of a serious haircut, but I've agreed to come out to do a really interesting thing. We're going to follow the journey of a single raindrop through the stormwater drainage system at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, where I'm standing right now. It's a bit cold, the weather's a little bit nappy, but I think we'll make it. So one other thing I want to tell you is this airport has a really stringent permit that manages stormwater. It's called the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. That's a mouthful. NPDS is what we'll call it for now. It's a huge, really stringent permit. There's a lot of really great best management practices in place to manage this stormwater and take all the itsy bitsy pieces of gunk and grit out of that water as it makes its way through the system. Follow us on this journey. It's sure to be real exciting. All right, here we are. We're down in the middle of this massive grassy expanse. You know, this airport is a really busy place, and sometimes it's really loud, so you're gonna have to pay attention. Well, look, we're out here to follow the journey of this raindrop, and I think I see him. Yes, in fact, there he is, and can you imagine what he's been through? He's come free falling down from the atmosphere. Sometimes it's chock full of pollution, picking up bits and pieces on the way, all the way down until he reaches terminal velocity and smashes into the runway. Oh, he's really suffered, and then now he's introduced into this really nice grassy environment. Well, you know what we know is this isn't simply grass. It's a best management practice. It's a filter strip, and really it works beautifully. Look, he's already getting cleaner. He may have picked up some specks of dust, and I can't believe our good timing on meeting you here. Well, thank you for coming. You only have 3 fingers. Strange. Anyway, as you can see, he's quite the man or woman. We don't know. Alright, so here we are on the filter strip. Now these filter strips are really effective at knocking off all the grit and grime that he's picked up on the runway. Things like copper from the brakes, zinc from the tires. All sorts of bits of grease and grime can be just picked up and absorbed in these. It's really good at just sucking things up. Right, so you make it through this grass, you're rumbling, you're tumbling, you're coming around, bits and pieces knocking off, and finally, you might just make it to the storm drain. You might infiltrate. Much of the stormwater in this huge area just infiltrates, which is great. Really good. None of the pollutants make it anywhere. It's a great filtering mechanism. It's getting taken up by the soil. The compost, there's a lot of organic matter here that really binds to the pollutants, and it's great. So now, hopefully, we can follow our friend the Raindrop on the rest of his journey through the system. Come along. Alright, so now we've left the filter strip, made it into a completely different area. This is called a bioswale. Now a bioswale kind of might look like a ditch to you, but a ditch is real V-shaped, it concentrates the flow, it doesn't allow for any time of filtering or contact with the soil. Really, ditches are terrible for stormwater, but a bioswale is much more flat, much more broad, lets the raindrop just spread out across it and be able to be filtered real nicely by this grass. Similar technique as the filter strip. And after that, there he went. After that, he's able to come down through the catch basin and on down to where he's headed down. You know, what I learned in the British Special Forces, they always told me, you know, everything flows downhill. And I suspect that's where he's going now. All right, so my Special Forces buddies were right. Everything does flow downhill, and here we are. We're at a really massive pond. I'm told by my crew that this thing is 11 acre-feet. Now I know that 1 acre-foot is 351,850 something gallons. Now that's quite a lot. Well, times 11, that's nearly 4 million gallons of water. Can you imagine how many raindrops that would be? Wow! All right, well, you know, I thought he would be here. Let's take a look and see. Oh, there he is! He's come down the pipe. That must have been one wild ride. Class 5 rapids at least. He's made his way down, he's into the pond, and bam! He hits the pool. He starts to settle out. The pool is really deep right there. It's a 4-bit. It's allowed to get the big chunks, the big pieces of grit and grime, pieces of gravel, anything that might have made its way into the system out. Drop them out right there. But the other thing about this pond is it's really designed to detain the water for a long amount of time, like 24 hours even, to really protect the creek and provide excellent flood control and flow control and protect it from erosion. You know, the creek may have cutthroat, may have salmon. These all need protecting. So they built this really huge pond, and it's also for flow control. So basically they're able to detain the water long enough to prevent highly erosive flows to the creek. And that'll protect the creek, it'll protect the environment, protect the fish. Sometimes it may take up to 24 hours for the water to drain out. We're going to go take a look and see where it goes. So here we are. I followed the raindrop down into the pond. And we're going to really follow his path through the pond as he makes his way through. We might do a little time-lapse magic to make this work for us. Here we go. Hello, Raindrop. Alright, after following the raindrop through the pond, I'll show you its path. It finally makes it to the outlet control structure. I believe we missed it, but it went through this structure right here. This structure is designed to prevent oil from leaving the pond. If there's any oil in the pond, it stops it. It has a downturn elbow with a discharge pipe. It's below the surface of the water. Oil floats, it stays up here, it cannot leave the pond. All the ponds and vaults at the airport have a similar type of oil control. It's really simple but really brilliant and effective at controlling oil. From here, we go to another very cutting edge and specialized filtration system right around the corner, and I'm sure a raindrop may be there right now. Follow me. As I expected, he's made it through the pond safely. He's now in this massive filtration vault. Now, ponds do an excellent job of removing pollutants, but sometimes we need a little more help. And in this case, we have these specialized storm filter cartridges. Now, each of these cartridges are full of a media. You can put anything you want in them pretty much, but we know we have copper and we have zinc from the roadways out here that were a problem. So we found a specialized media that's made out of composted leaves. They take the leaves and they bunch them all together and they make them into this really fine pellet. And then they put them in here, and so Mr. Stormwater Raindrop, he's going to come through, he runs into it, and he has three things happen. He may get adsorbed with an AD, adsorbed. He may be absorbed with your abs, but not really. And he may be exchanged in an ion exchange type capacity. You're going to have to get out your chemistry textbook to look these up because we don't have time to go into that. But I'm sure you'll like to when you get home. So from here, after he goes through this filtration process, he's just spot on clean and feeling great. And then he's out to the creek and we're going there next. Follow us along once again. It's a great journey and the sun is coming out. Alright, here we are. We're finally nearing the end of our Raindrop's journey. You know, his car traveled a long way. He's been beaten up, he's been battered around, he's been subject to a lot of pollutants. But then, we've also put him through a real rigorous test with a lot of stormwater best management practice that are carefully designed to take these pollutants out. They've done a bang-up job. But finally, he comes out the pipe and he's on his way down the creek, and we're going to follow him to his final destination, a little bit salty, Puget Sound. Let's go. Alright, with a little time-lapse magic, we're able to zip ahead and find when our raindrop reaches the end of the creek and the sound. Now, he's traveled a long way. We weren't able to follow him the whole way, but here he is now, coming through in great form, really looking good, actually. Quite clean, quite nice. You know, what a fun example of a clean piece of water coming down here. You know, I'm really happy. You know, he looks good. He's even got, you know, he's still got a smile on his face. It's quite amazing. You know, what's also amazing is we only had time to show you one of the 11 current stormwater basins that discharge to the different creeks around the airport. They all have their own complex mix of stormwater best management practices to remove all the little bits of gunk from our friend. And they work really well. The other thing we didn't have time to tell you about is the industrial wastewater system that handles the really nasty, cruddy fuel, ramp areas, all this stuff goes to specialized lagoons. We didn't have time to tell you about that. That's going to be another one cool, really green thing. So now, you know, we hate to leave you, but we have to. The seagulls are churning about, and I'm worried. So let's take a little leave of absence until next time. Carry on being the cleanest and the greenest and keeping our raindrops super clean. Thank you, Raindrop.